Hello, I am Ronan Chris Murphy of Ronan's Recording Show, recordingbootcamp.com, and of course my day job of running Veneto West, where we produce, mix, and master records for people all over the world. But today, we're going to talk about how to get back that lovin' feeling. And obviously, I don't know anything about fixing your love life, but I do know something about making records. Having made hundreds and hundreds of albums all around the world, this I know about. And this is a situation we've probably all run into when we're working on a production, whether it's we get those basic tracks and tracking the band live, or we start building up a production where we've got a cool drum loop and a cool synth riff, and all of a sudden we got grins from ear to ear on our face. We're looking around trying to figure out which shelf our Grammy Award's gonna look best on, and we're just absolutely in love with the production we're doing. And then we keep working on it. We add some really cool synth texture on top of that, some really great electric guitar part, another percussion bit, a big stack of background vocals, all incredibly cool stuff. And then we start listening to it. And that's actually where I am right now, working on a production, and that's what made me think about this. We've done all these different stages where we are high-fiving each other in the studio. Now I'm putting it together and I'm thinking, this isn't as cool as I remember it. And luckily, I've been through this before, because anybody who's made lots and lots of records has been through this before. And what's happened is what happens all the time. We start layering on more and more cool stuff, and the more cool stuff we layer into the whole production, actually a lot of times the less cool the production gets to be. Because this is something that people don't think about when they're putting an arrangement together. Every time you add something to an arrangement after the first couple elements, you're kind of making something else in the arrangement a little bit less cool. So when you add that incredibly cool guitar sound, it's actually going to start to mask the coolness of that synth riff that you had. You know, when you start to, layer on that giant awesome snare drum sample, well, all of a sudden maybe the coolness of that hi-hat or the nice delay trail or the vocal delay that you put on, those things start to get masked. So you always need to remember this. When you start to layer on cool things, you need to make sure that that new cool thing is worth how it's going to make what you put on before a little bit less cool. So the production I'm on now, and I can't really play much of it, but there you go. That's all you get, because it's not released yet. But what I'm doing here to deal with this is I'm kind of stripping things back to remember what it was that made us so happy and high-fiving each other on this, and reconnecting with those cool elements and starting to bring those back to the fore. So obviously there's a lot of cool stuff on here, and we want to do it. And the way that I'm approaching this, and which is kind of common for me, is rather than just cool stuff on top of cool stuff on top of cool stuff on top of cool stuff, which ends up being not very cool at all, is I'm looking for different times throughout the arrangement where I can highlight the cool stuff. So maybe verse 1 is where we do show off that really cool modulating Fender Rhodes thing, in this case right here. But when we get into verse 2, I'm highlighting some of the more cool rhythmic ideas that we played around with. And we've got sections with live drums and electronic drums, and when we hit that last chorus, the live drums really get to come to the fore and do it. So I'm kind of trying to build an arc, build a story where each thing gets to show off, and we get to see how cool it is and show it off without everything just trying to stomp on top of each other. So it's a really good approach. When you find yourself not quite so in love with the production that you started on a couple weeks ago, it could be that you've piled cool stuff on top of cool stuff on top of cool stuff, and really not let anything shine. It's like cooking. Once you pile too many different cool sauces, you start to lose the great flavor of that original steak or that original great vegetable. And so a lot of times when you strip layers back, you get a chance for everything to really shine. And so try that in your own productions. Again, the mute button is your friend for making things cool and punchy. So I hope that helps a little bit. And remember, subscribe here. And if you want to get turned on to all the cool videos I put here on YouTube. And of course, please come to recordingbootcamp.com if you want to make sure you get all the stuff and information about the different workshops and courses that we present around the world. Thanks, have fun, and stay focused on the music first.